completely unthinkable and unheard of until the witch hunt was illegally started. They broke. Oh yeah. Why didn't they break into the DNC to get the server or Crooked's office? Well, a couple of things. First of all, I do love that Crooked and we're even not Crooked, so we don't put the man's an expert at branding. I mean, you got to give that to him, right? He just says Crooked, and we're like, oh yeah, he's talking about Clinton. But when it comes to this tweet, a couple of problems. Number one, it is not illegal to get a warrant to search a lawyer's office. They went through the DOJ.
It is illegal. Mark Levin says it is illegal. He didn't have their operation to search and seizure. I would like if your place with the search and seizure with no probable cause. It wasn't a legal search and seizure. And two, it was no campaign contribution. That did not happen either, Ben Shapiro. It is criminal. Mark Levin said it was back in May when they did it. You should listen to the Mark Levin show from May. He called it out saying that was an illegal search and seizure. You think it's okay just to go search and seize someone's house? Come on, man. He got ransacked. I think it was in May or whenever it was. And Mark Levin said it was illegal, man. Come on.
The right side of the aisle is that the FBI did not get copies of Hillary Clinton's servers, that they should have just seized the servers. That's not how it works. They made a copy of the server. That's normal procedure. And as far as quote unquote breaking into Hillary Clinton's office, they did actually dig up a lot of her old holes in her stuff. I'm not sure what breaking into her office would have done or anything. In any case, the big headline this week is him calling Michael Cohen a rat.
So we've been breaking and entering if it's Hillary, but not Michael Cohen, huh, Ben Shapiro?
Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not a good lawyer. If you're a good lawyer, then you wouldn't have needed Michael Cohen. Because Michael Cohen's not even a good lawyer. No, stop.
No, why don't you stop, Ben? You're constantly attacking the president.
Stop. Wait, come back. Don't. What is he doing? Second.
Stop this nonsense, Ben.
After the FBI did something, normally, if you watch mob movies, which I'm fond of, if you like mob movies, then when someone is called a rat, it's not because they're lying. Usually they're called a rat because they're telling the truth. So when you have Jimmy Cagney going, oh, you dirty rat, usually what he's talking about is somebody in his orbit who's now talking to the police in order to secure a better deal for himself, but not lying. And in fact, it is in fact crime for federal prosecutors to suborn perjury themselves. So if federal prosecutors were to put out evidence that turns out to be false, they would pressure people into making false statements for use in court, then they would be criminally liable for that. So Trump here, in this tweet, is doing about 10 different things, none of them good.
Yeah, of course you would say that because you want to defend your non-voter President Trump, so you got to put him out there like, he is this bad person like I think he is. And even though sometimes I'll compliment him on good things, I still got to sit there and keep my position of he's mostly bad to justify my non-vote.
Now we're done. Instead, he didn't do that. And one of the reasons he didn't do that is because
and Mark Levin's not a special Trump leader. And he disagrees with you.
President Trump. So President Trump continues to fulminate over these investigations. He ripped into Jeff Sessions over the hoax Russia probe. So there's that. He says it looks here as though General Flynn's defenses are incidental to something larger, which is for the prosecution to figure out if it can find a path to Donald Trump without quite knowing what that crime might be. It stopped looking like prosecution and more looking like a persecution of the president. That's Daniel Henninger over at the Wall Street Journal, which is true. He says, thank you. People are starting to see and understand what this witch hunt is all about. Jeff Sessions should be ashamed of himself for allowing this total hoax to get started in the first place. No, the quote-unquote hoax did not get started under Jeff Sessions. This investigation began in 2016. In the middle of the investigation, Sessions just recused himself because Sessions had been implicated in talking with people in Russia, right, during the transition, and it was part of the campaign itself. Rudy Giuliani is the president's personal attorney. And there are three really terrible jobs right now in America. I mean, worse than any septic worker. There are three really awful jobs. President's personal attorney, president's press secretary, chief of staff. All jobs that no sane human being would really want. Well, Rudy Giuliani has been
Well, I think this is all a joke, man. People's lives are at stake. They're trying to build a case and impeach the president. I think it's funny, Ben Shapiro. I think it's a joke, Ben Shapiro.
And what he's basically skipping to is President Trump didn't do anything criminal. Even if he did bad stuff, even if he talked to Michael Cohen, it's not really a big deal. And so we are skipping all the way to where I am already, which is I'm assuming that President Trump probably told Michael Cohen to spend money on Stormy Daniels. I'm assuming that probably happened because I think it did.
Who cares about that, man? No one cares about the payment. What's over the payment? God, these leftists want to keep this a story. This is not this playbook, man. You're being used as a damn tool for the left.
Giuliani is saying. So Giuliani is skipping all of the middle steps. And frankly, I don't think that's terrible. I think there are a lot of folks in the administration who don't understand that when you're constantly moving the goalposts as to guilt and innocence, it actually looks worse. If you just say, yeah, president does a lot of stuff, not illegal, that's probably a better answer than the president didn't do it. Well, the president might have done it, but not what you're saying he did. Well, the president might have done what he said he did, but it's not that bad. Well, it might not be that bad. It might be kind of bad, but it's not criminal. Why don't you just go to, you know what, the president does a lot of stuff, not criminal. Right? That's actually a better line. But instead, we've gotten this constantly receding line of goalposts into the infinite distance. And I think that that's actually pretty bad. Yeah, Giuliani's cutting through all that.
Yeah, you would sit there and do that. Mark Levin's not going that direction.
Collusion is not a crime.
Not giving Trump the benefit of doubt on you, Benny boy.
Nothing the president did, maybe it looks bad to you, but it's not actually criminal. True. And then he adds it was over by election time, which is a weird kind of qualifier.
I know that collusion is not a crime. It was over with by the time of the election.
Okay, well, it depends what the it is, right? If he was colluding with Russia to affect the outcome of the election, then that would be a crime. Collusion itself is not a crime. Conspiracy is a crime, so it depends on what activity we are talking about here, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And that's why there's a poll today from CNN that shows about half of Americans are not interested in impeachment at this point, which is actually up a little bit over what it was a couple of weeks ago. And then Giuliani makes what is a pretty good legal point. He says, you know, when President Trump wanted to keep Stormy Daniels silent, the entire case against Michael Cohen and President Trump rests on the idea that President Trump wanted to silence these women before the election. This is the case that's been made by former FEC commissioners who have said that President Trump paying off women is not a crime. Because people do this every day in public life. They pay off women all the time. That doesn't make it criminal. It's whether this particular hush money was paid off with an eye toward the election. And this raises a legal question. What if it's both? What if the president paid off these women partially because of the election, but partially because he wanted to keep it secret from his wife? Because he didn't want Melania finding out all about it and then throwing laughs at it or something. What if it's both? And that's the case Giuliani makes. He says, listen,
I don't care about Trump's personal life. That's Melania's problem.
Was just silencing these women, not because of the election only, but because and that was going to harm his personal life. There's Giuliani saying that.
I can produce an enormous number of witnesses that say the president was very concerned about how this was going to affect his children, his marriage, not just this one, but similar. All those women came forward at that point. That tape with Billy Bush and all of that. It's all part of the same thing. And I know what he was concerned about, and I can produce 20 witnesses to tell you what he was concerned. 2 weeks before the campaign, damn right, he was concerned about all of it.
Okay, and that's not actually implausible. You know, Stephanopoulos is kind of looking at that askance, like, well, this is happening right before the end of the campaign. When do you think these women were coming forward? In other words, maybe part of the factor here is not that Trump wanted to pay these women off before the election. Maybe part of the factor here is these women knew that their payday was coming before the election, and so Trump now has a limited amount of time to silence these women before his family finds out about that, if that's something that President Trump is deeply concerned about. And by the way, the evidence is pretty good that Trump likes silencing these women regardless of whether there's an election going on. Remember, he worked with the AMI to silence Stormy Daniels back in 2011, having nothing to do with the election. So again, as I've been saying for 2 weeks here, the president's defense rests on a couple of points. Point number one is the idea that this had nothing to do with the election. Point number two is that even if it had something to do with the election, that's Michael Cohen's fault, that's his lawyer's fault. I don't think that case is particularly bad, but the evidence is going to have to emerge. There's one piece of evidence we're going to talk about in a second that sort of cuts against the president on that first score. First, let's talk about your impending doom. So I know you don't want to talk about the fact that you're going to die.
With funding, yes. And it's all the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know what he could be. So I'm all over that. And I spoke to Alan about it. When it comes time for the financing, it could be, listen, what financing? We'll have to pay you. So no, I got it.
Okay, so, you know, again, this is the president talking in detail with Cohen about all this, but there is something about the state that people are missing, and that is that Cohen keeps saying to Trump, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it. That's Trump's best defense. Trump's best defense is Michael Cohen said he'd take care of it, my lawyer. The reason I keep discussing all this stuff, and this is important, the reason that this stuff is important is because in the end, the calculus is going to be about whether the president is impeached or not. It's really not about whether he did anything criminal. President Clinton did criminal things.
So what? I'm done. This is boring me.
Obamacare subsidies and rules, which argues against judges appealing the law by fiat. Here's where I disagree with the Wall Street Journal. If it is unconstitutional, it's unconstitutional. But the Wall Street Journal correctly said that that Judge O'Connor is right. The Democrats claim the individual mandate was essential to the Affordable Care Act, but when Congress killed the financial penalty in 2017, it didn't kill Obamacare. It left Obamacare intact. So if you're deciding congressional intent, whether it's to kill Obamacare or not, well, the severability provision of Obamacare still applies. In other words, the decision may be psychologically satisfying, but it's not legally great. What's more important is that the decision itself actually cuts against Republicans politically, because in the end, this decision is not going to stand. In all likelihood, the Supreme Court of Appeals strikes it down. If not, the Supreme Court probably strikes it down. And here's the problem. President Trump tweeted out, very excited that Obamacare had been struck down by this court. He tweeted out, as I predicted all along, Obamacare has been struck down as an unconstitutional disaster. Now Congress must pass a strong law that provides great health care and protects pre-existing conditions. Mitch and Nancy, get it done. Okay, this is not great. I'll explain in a second. And then he continues along these lines. He says, wow, but not surprisingly, Obamacare was just ruled unconstitutional by a highly respected judge in Texas. Great news for America. Here's why it's not great news for America. Because there is no actual plan to replace Obamacare. There's no bipartisan plan on the table. Democrats are immediately going to say that if people lose their quote-unquote Obamacare coverage, if they lose their Medicaid coverage via Obamacare, if all the rates go up because a bunch of people withdraw from the individual mandate on the basis of Obamacare disappearing, then they're going to say, oh look, the healthcare system has failed, let's nationalize healthcare. This was always the plan. From day one, this was the plan. Go back and listen to things that I said back in 2012, 2013, 2010 when they were passing this. This was always a step-by-step design for failure program. The Democrats claim that when prices went up, it's because the market was not regulated enough. Because where Democrats come from...
What do you want Trump to do? No one wants to do anything. The Republicans want us to do this, and they want to keep Obamacare.
Even though they say it was going to cure the system.
Republicans want to keep Obamacare.
You like your doctor? You get to keep your doctor. You like your medicine? You get to keep your medicine. You like your insurance? You get to keep your insurance. None of it was true. None of it was true. But...
Yeah, it's not Trump's fault.
The plan was for him to say, oh, didn't see that one, huh? Guess we got to nationalize healthcare now. And that was always the plan for Democrats. It's why they are now pushing single-payer healthcare. It's why they've embraced the full Bernie Sanders strategy when it comes to healthcare. This is why Chuck Schumer is gleeful about this decision. Chuck Schumer is happy about the decision. Why? Because now he gets to try and force Republicans to expand government to cover all the gaps left by the crappy Obamacare system that was put in place back in 2010. Here is Schumer. You can hear the glee in his voice.
We're going to fight this tooth and nail. And the first thing we're going to do when we get back there in the Senate is put a vote on the floor, urging an intervention in the case.
Hopefully Trump vetoes it. We don't need no single payer. We need to get rid of Obamacare. We don't need not to have it. This is boring me too.
I want to get to the craziest editorial of the day in just 1 second. Plus, an insane story about anti-Semitism openly being endorsed by the New York Times. We'll get to that in just 1 second. But first, you're going to have to go over to Daily Wire and subscribe because we have so much good stuff coming up. Coming up in 2019, the Ben Shapiro radio show will be extending to 3 hours. That is right. That's right. The Ben Shapiro radio show will be now adding a full 2 hours with all the great content that you have come to enjoy and expect. Well, unless you listen to it live on radio, you're not going to be able to hear it unless you subscribe. If you subscribe, then you get it, right? You get the rest of it. We are going to be taking some questions during the break, so you'll be able to actually interact with me on a daily basis, which is awesome. Also, it's almost time for the next episode of The Conversation, which I could not be less excited about. I will be wasting my time taking your questions and answering them to the best of my ability, live on air. So make them good, make the questions good, make sure that you show up. I mean, if I'm going to be miserable here sitting with Alicia Krauss, then you may as well be here. You know, I don't know what's expected here. Like, I know it's important to listen to answers from idiots like Michael Knowles and Pep, but I only here providing real answers. When I'm here, I expect you to be here. Once again, subscribers get to ask the questions. Everybody gets to watch. Also, all subscribers for $9.99 a month. For $99 you get this, and you know, teen, greatest beverage vessel. It's awesome. You'll love it. It's hot during it's hot. Cold during it's cold. How do it know? It's spectacular. Go check all of that out and subscribe over. Bill went now shut. He tweeted out the pathetic and dishonest weekly standard run by failed prognosticator Bill Kristol, who, like many others, never had a clue. Is flat broken out of business. Too bad. May it rest in peace. You may agree with him about Bill Kristol. You may agree with him about the Weekly Standard. But celebrating a bunch of people getting thrown out of their jobs 2 weeks before Christmas is probably not great strategy. In any case,
Well, I agree with it.
what I'm commenting on right now. What I'm commenting on right now is this piece by Max Boots. Max Boots says that in the Washington Post, conservatism needs a new weekly standard, untainted by Trump. And the entire piece is about how conservatism requires a new magazine that is not going to deal with Trump, just going to deal with ideas. And conservatives can talk about ideas without having to deal with Trump and yada, yada, yada. Now, I agree with a lot of that sentiment. I agree that the battle over conservative ideas is much more important and much more long-lasting than the battle over whatever President Trump is doing today. I think it's important. It's why we talk about ideas on the show on a regular basis. Why we do the Sunday special. It's why I write books on Plato and Aristotle and Judeo-Christian values. It's why I talk about the social fabric. But I agree with all that. The problem is, writing this in the pages of the Washington Post is a lie. And the reason I say that it is a lie is because the Washington Post cannot print pieces, or should not print pieces, talking about the lack of good conservative content when it will not hire a conservative. Will not hire a conservative. Now, there are people who say, well, you at Daily Wire, you're not hiring people who are on the left. Number one, I'm sure that we have employees here who don't agree with my policy. But second of all, we are open about our political biases. This is a right-wing site. Right? Daily Wire is a right-wing site. I'm a conservative. I'm very open about this. I've never hidden it, and I think it's unethical to hide your own political proclivities when you're writing news, because people can then take what you're saying with the particular grain of salt necessary. The Washington Post, when it prints pieces in which it says things like conservatives ought to act, or conservatives ought to do what, the Washington Post is a supposedly nonpartisan paper. There is not one major conservative working for the Washington Post. Not a major conservative working for the Washington Post. At least the New York Times can say that it's got people like Bret Stephens or people like Ross Douthat. Like, these are folks who actually are conservative thinkers, even if they are anti-Trump. The Washington Post can't name a conservative thinker. How do I know this? Because I personally know a person who was interviewed by the Washington Post, not me. I'm only not mentioning his name because I think that he would be upset if I did. He's happy not to. He was interviewed by the heads of the Washington Post to join their editorial page, to be one of the columnists on the editorial page. He went through the entire process. He went through a bunch of meetings, and it was indicated to him that he was going to be hired on the editorial page as a regular columnist, to sort of fill the Charles Krauthammer role after Charles Krauthammer's passing. And they went through all the interview process. He got to the final interview. They were basically ready to offer him the job. Then he was called in. They canceled the meeting, apparently, where he was going to be offered. And he was brought into the offices of the higher ups of the Washington Post, where he was told in no uncertain terms that staffers at the Washington Post were very upset at him. Why were they upset at him? They were upset at him because of his opinions on transgenderism. Because he believes that male and female are biological categories. And so, and they asked him about it, he said, no, I'm not going to change my opinion, nor am I going to apologize for the statements I made on this particular score. I don't think it makes me an unsympathetic person to say that male and female are biological categories. This was too much of
Bill Crystal is a fraud. Fred Barnes is a fraud. The whole dish rag is a fraud. I'm happy it went under. It should have went under.
But they will not hire anyone who really, they won't hire, and they, listen, Ross Douthat could not get hired today by the New York Times. Barry Weiss would not be hired today by the New York Times. She's not even conservative, Barry, right? I mean, I know Barry. Barry is, if she's conservative, she's a far left conservative, right? And Barry would say that. She's more centrist. They would not hire these people. And then they complain that there's not a real conservatism, right? Because you ghettoize the conservative movement, and then you're surprised when it acts like a ghetto. And all of that is just plain garbage. But, you know who does get space on the editorial pages of these various publications are the most radical leftists. This is something that the president tweets out, the Democrats' policy of child separation on the border during the Obama administration was far worse than the way we handle it now. Remember the 2014 picture of children in cages, the Obama years. So far, so good. But then he says this, however, if you don't separate, far more people will come. Smugglers use the cage. That sentence, however, if you don't separate, far more people will come. Now the implication is that he wants to separate children from
That's the implication you gain from it. Two conservatives know what he really means, Ben. You just want to sit there and use it as a way to divide further the Republicans who couldn't vote for Trump, who are so-called conservatives. They would only vote for Cruz, who voted for the Farm Bill from the never Trumpers, from the Trump supporters that would vote for him.
And that was a big ruling against Obamacare, basically striking down Obamacare in its
You're in your own little bubble, Ben.
and with an injunction against Obamacare. But we'll explain all the detail coming up in just 1 second. So selling your home, it's one of the biggest decisions you're going to make. Hiring the wrong real estate agent can cost you thousands of dollars. I know, I've done it before. That's a real problem. I've had to fire real estate agents, get new real estate agents, because some agents are just
Oh, stop.
are great at buying. But the way that you can tell who is good and who is not